Howdy, howdy, and welcome to My Bloody Judy with your final forgets, myself, Zachary Patton Garcia.
And Ian Carlos Crawford.
There you go.
Gotta give you a shot of adrenaline in your ass.
I know, right? Right in the hole. There's already a pre-made hole there for you.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
No, big news today. And if you're either here because you're excited about the news or you're here because you want to hate watch, and either way is fine for us. Make sure to smash that like button or dislike button. It counts the same anyway.
Wait, does it really?
Yes, it's fun. It's wonderful. Any type of interaction is good interaction on YouTube.
God, that really is the internet's motto. So yes, it was announced today. Neve Campbell posted on her Instagram that she is coming back for Scream 7. And not only is she coming back, but Kevin Williamson is coming back to direct, and it's written by the same people that wrote the last two, which I'm seeing online that one of them is not part of it anymore. Like, it's part of his draft that he wrote before.
I could see that.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Is like, okay, well, so we'll start. She dropped it, and I saw it, like, I had just logged onto Instagram, and so it was immediately as she posted it, she was the first one up on my feed, and nice. I looked at it for like a good minute trying to decipher what it was instead of just reading the caption, right? Trying to figure out what the hell this was.
Who needs to read that?
And I nearly, that's what I almost shit myself on. Yes, I very nearly shit myself on that one. And then I did start reading it, and I saw, because she put it really, maybe it was closer to the top, but maybe towards the middle, but then she drops Kevin Williamson's name, but it's kind of down there. I would have led with that. Me and Kevin Williamson are back for Scream.
Yeah.
But listen, elated on my end.
Yeah. And of course we support Melissa Barrera. And I do think that you can be both supporting Melissa and be bummed with her treatment.
This is his first immediate thought, was to try to calm everybody down, cool everybody's tempers.
Well, I know how the internet is.
I don't give a fuck how the internet is. I love Twitter for a reason.
And I will say, I got no hate on my statement because I made sure to clarify all of this when I tweeted it, that we can both support Melissa. We do hate the way she was treated. There's no argument there from either of us. But we also can be excited and hopeful, excited that Neve and Kevin Williamson are coming back, and be hopeful what this brings
this
about.
Whole thing, Spyglass fucking sucks though, man. They just suck. They just suck. They're not sending us no PR packages after this. Spyglass just fucking sucks. I, along with everybody else, wishes that they would just sell their rights. They're not going to.
They're not
going to sell the rights. These movies they can make a quick buck on these movies, and they
6 made more than any of them, right?
They're going to make 6 more after this too. They fully intend to. I don't know when those rights expire. I don't know if they own them forever. I don't know how that works. Critical Overlord, let us know.
I don't know.
But they're not going anywhere, unfortunately. And they already started kicking up shit when they wouldn't pay Neve Campbell what she was asking for, right? So we were all rallying with that. But even back then, we said, well, we are going to see the movie. We're going to see the new movie still. We're not going to boycott it. Yeah. We love this franchise. We're still going to go out and watch this. And it's a little bit more serious with Melissa Barrera, which makes it a little bit more of an unsteady sort of point. It makes it a little bit harder to be as excited about this one, because when all the Scream 6 stuff was dropping, I was still knowing in the back of my mind, how Neve Campbell was treated. I was still very excited for all of that stuff, and it does dampen things a little bit. It does. I am still very excited, but it does dampen things because she was speaking out on a cause she believed in, and she's saying let's not do a genocide. Maybe let's not do that. And that was treated as some sort of anti-Semitic. That whole statement. We all saw the statement that they put out over that,
and labeling a Latino woman, I don't know,
truly treated her like shit over that whole situation. And so it does dampen things a little bit. I do see a lot of It's both sides of the coin, right? It's I see a lot of people excited for this, supporting Neve, and a lot of people really shitting on Neve.
Yeah.
And there haven't been no real confirmed reports or whatever, but I do go by what Critical Overlord says, because Critical Overlord
is usually right.
Research.
Yeah.
Yes. And he did a video not too long ago talking about Neve Campbell really trying to get Melissa back onto the project. There's something about this movie that she is really, it could just be the paycheck too, but there's something about this movie that she's really connected to and trying to get the ball rolling on. And the reports did say that she was trying to get Melissa back for this.
And that Spyglass said that like they would take her back if she publicly apologized, and good for her for saying like no.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would have the morals to say no at that point, just because like it's such a big job and blah blah blah. Like I don't begrudge anyone a paycheck is the thing. I never begrudge anyone. And I have worked many jobs with companies that fucking suck. And I don't think taking the paycheck is quite indicative of agreeing with a company. So like, I don't know. I get very like, you know, I don't know. I've worked so many jobs, right? Like when I was at BuzzFeed, people would like be like, "Oh, BuzzFeed sucks. Why do you work there?" And it's like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, I mean, she's a working actor too. Melissa is, right?
Yeah.
So if she did have to backtrack a little bit and take the paycheck and make sure, because these actors, like I like that actors have started talking about their paychecks a little bit more and having to be, and they all sound like, you know, we criticize how they sound, and you know, they, you know, complaining about the job that I don't know, I've seen all the criticism on there about it, but it's true. Like these actors get paid a certain amount of money that then gets divided into so many different ways that after taxes, what they end up with in their pocket is probably not all that much, especially for somebody maybe at Melissa's
unless you're like Chris Evans or Robert Downey Jr.
I mean,
like,
I think even Neve Campbell, right? Like, I think if she was loaded, she probably wouldn't be doing all the cons that she does, right? Like, these are good. This is good, like, income for them. And if you were at, I guess, Leonardo DiCaprio status, you know, that making that kind of money, $30 million a picture, then you're not doing all of these things. And so it's just. I don't know. I am real proud of Melissa though for like she really did stick to her guns on this, and she said, "Look, because I think it was recently, right? This was like the last week that a fan had asked her at a con if I like that she was sitting next to Dermot Mulroney too, had asked her if she was going to come back, and she says if she would want to come back, and she said she loves the franchise, would love to come back. Spyglass just has to sell the rights and she would come back, right? Which is like pretty hardcore stance, and good for her, man.
Yeah, I feel like you and I talk about this a lot with like backing up what you say, and she is very much backing up what she say, and I like have nothing but like
energy. That's Sam energy right there.
And I have like nothing but respect for that. Like nothing.
Yes. But I also don't begrudge Neve Campbell a paycheck, right? Again, working actor. And it's not like she's taking over and being newly brought in. This was her franchise. Like this is her franchise. Yeah. It still is her franchise. Even to 6, we had to have a Sidney line to know where she was in 6 because people want to know where Sidney Prescott is. So this is her franchise. It does seem like this movie in particular seems like it's one she's very, very excited about, which tells me the story is probably very exciting for her. And the fact that Kevin Williamson is coming back. It's strange to me that Kevin Williamson is coming back to direct.
Yeah.
I would really have like loved for him to write it too.
Yes.
Because he did Sick not too long ago.
He wrote and directed it, right?
No,
it was last year. It was last year. Yeah.
Is that what we said? Yes. Beginning of 2023, end of 2022.
I think it was like January 2nd it came out.
That was a great sort of like, I consider that now knowing he's part of Scream 7, his pitch movie to come back to this franchise. And that's the energy I want going into this movie. I want chase scenes galore. I want atmosphere, vibes.
I would need a little bit more of like quiet moments of learning about what she's like, what's going on in her life though. Yeah.
Yes, I bet we get them. So like, I think it had been reported earlier when everybody was kind of unsure where this franchise was going to go and everybody was dropping out. And I think it was kind of like some of the details had unofficially leaked about that script, and it was going to be Sam and Sidney meeting again, right? And it was kind of like they both had a half in the movie. And so I'm guessing they took that and just stretched it out to be the full movie, which I'm not mad about. So you and I have talked about a lot of things in regard. We do a lot of like, what would we do with this franchise, right? And a big one is like, we wouldn't use Sidney Prescott for a while. We'd give her a little bit of a break, which still want that. If she's, what were you saying?
I was just, my friend David was the only person that like kind of commented that was like, I feel like torn about this, but it said kind of like what we said and was like, hi, David Diaz, said that like he half was torn because of how they treated Melissa, but half was happy that but also didn't want Sidney being attacked anymore. He was like, I don't want to see her get stabbed again. I was like, okay, yeah, that's how I feel.
Especially knowing how young her kids are, that's what it's like. I have always been on the train of like when your kids turn 17, they're old enough for a horror movie, and that's when we can attack her.
But like her kids are like
but
what?
now, so
like
grandma,
6, 7.
Grandma's dead. Oh no, I forgot. I was gonna say grandma better take her dying.
Grandma's dead. Grandma on the other side.
We don't know if her dad's dead. Maybe her dad can take them off into hiding. I don't want her kids getting attacked. Okay, her and Kincaid are fine. They're on limits, whatever. Sure. I don't really want her family unit being attacked, but we know that's gonna happen.
I kind of hope. I wouldn't mind if the opening kill is like they do what they did with Jenna Ortega and like her and her husband are the opening whatever, and then he just leaves with the kids and the rest of the movie is
no.
like,
I want Patrick Dempsey in it. I want him as a character in this. That's the thing.
I don't.
So like, okay, we didn't want her to be attacked for a little while. We wanted her to get a break, get a little bit of happiness. That's not happening. And 7 is a fantastic number to come back for. We've also said in I don't even know if they're recordings or discussions. We've talked about this franchise so much, just us two, that if she were to come back, it would be great for her to come back for 7, leave the core 4 out of it, because I feel like the core 4 does need a break. It can't happen every single year. Like between Scream 2 and Scream 3, they had a nice chunk of time. Core 4 needs that. They need a nice chunk of time. And then we can sort of like bring all the pieces back together for like a big hurrah.
Well, and story-wise... only story-wise, I am not upset at that being the core 4's end. Like, I don't know, they all kind of like, sure, fine. I'm
it took me a second. No.
I'm okay with it being like, yeah, Chad got this ridiculous like second chance. If he lived, sure. And I feel like, because I kind of feel like it's like give them a break. And but because I also wanted them to get a break because it's ridiculous if they're attacked every single year, I also am okay with like, we can like do other things, like the same thing we felt about like Sidney and Gale. Well, we always say Gale can come back, but like the same thing we felt about Sidney, I kind of feel about Sam and Tara, where it's like I'm okay with them if that's kind of the end, and we don't have to like, ooh, like who's gonna die this time at the core 4, and it's like, they're good.
Yeah, especially for a while. Like I want them to come back. I don't want this to be their end. I'm ready for them to come back as
no. I mean, I'm not saying never, but I'm saying
they need to.
If it has to be the end, it's not like
to.
If it has to be the end, I don't feel like it's unfinished.
Okay.
Like the same thing.
That could have ended the franchise. That movie that had that finale, that could have ended the franchise.
Yes.
And it would have been, I think everybody would have been okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of my least favorite Scream movies, but yes, that is, I don't know. A lot of people, the thing they rag on most is the final act. And I think the final act's like actually really good.
With the context removed. I don't like the story.
Right, yes.
But the storyline is where it falls apart.
And but I think the action is like real fucking good.
The action is great. It's great set piece, great action, great character moments between Sam and Tara, and it's all really good stuff. So I do like the direction that this is taking, where 7 is Sidney's movie, because we have not had a Sidney movie. Again, I don't consider 3 a Sidney movie. I
know a lot of people do.
It is, though. It is. It just doesn't entirely, to me, feel like it was a Sidney movie like 2 did. 2 felt like Sidney's story. We followed Sidney to college. We connected with all the characters that Sidney was interacting with, and everybody came to Sidney. We need a 7 that is setting up the same sort of thing, where we are being brought to Sidney's world.
Yeah.
And not Sidney coming back to Woodsboro or coming back to us, right? Like, we have to be dropped into her world. I want new characters that she has been interacting with. If she's part of a fucking PTA, I want to know about it. I want to know which moms are going to get got in that PTA.
Isn't she too young to be? Isn't her kids? Aren't her kids too young to be for her to be part of a PTA?
Oh, I don't know. Shit, I just saw a stroller. We didn't even see a child. She probably didn't even have nothing.
No there was guns. It was fake. Guns in the stroller.
I want to see Sidney's NRA friends. Honestly, anybody that Sidney runs with a gun crowd. She does.
I would love to see Sidney running with a gun crowd, but being like, "Please don't say that. Can you stop? Like, no, don't say gay people are pedophiles." Like her being very annoyed with them.
However she needs to do it, but we need to see some of her friends that are going to get got. I want some new friends that are what name rhymes with Tatum? Like that's the name that's like like a Tati or something. You know, I need her. I want to see her friends die again. Watch her have a new friend named Tatum because
God, I want to watch this woman's friends die. I love her. That's why.
Yes, at least two of them, right? Just at least two of them. I don't want to see her like closely guarded anymore. I want to see her like have opened her world up and trusted living again. I mean, obviously I don't want to see her Laurie Strode. She's got guns in her closet. She's got guns in the house. She is ready to go.
So,
pew pew.
Do you remember? Do you remember we put this on our list for like best chase scenes last year? The Totally Killer, the Julie Bowen, like when the killer comes in the house and she's like, I'm prepared, and she's like pulling guns and like shit. I would love that. That's the preparedness I want for Sidney, because that would make sense. But yeah, no, I don't want a Laurie Strode 2018, but I would like it to be like, if the killer's in her house, she's like, I could pull a gun from any one of these like corners of my house.
Where would you like to fight?
Yeah.
Sir, whoever that is under the mask.
Ghostface, where would you like me to kill you in my house? Because I would like that kind of preparedness. But yes, I agree with you, like that. And then she's like, but she's cool with like
learned to adjust, because Sidney Prescott is somebody who does learn to adjust. She said it. She's a fighter. She knows that, and she can live some semblance of a normal life while also watching in her periphery, right? So I want that. And Mark, by association, would know who he married and would also be like that as well.
And he's a cop.
You know? Yeah. He's retired. I'd like to see him retired, right?
Are they old enough to be retired?
He's not, no. But like,
well, whatever.
Mark. It's okay. Somebody's got to watch the girls.
Are that much older than me?
Like a housewife, you know. I want Sidney to have like a what if Sidney owned a shooting range? That'd be nice. That'd be fun.
I feel like she would if she owned a shooting range, it would be like a shooting range specifically for like survivors, and she'd give them like free lessons, and then everyone else would have to pay.
Ooh, I would love Sidney in some kind of social work, some kind of like leading some survivors group or something like that.
I mean, because like in 3, she works for the hotline, and that just, I know this is like me being one of those people, but like Neve Campbell and Sidney Prescott both like exude such warmth and like caring and like, I don't know. I just feel like it would make sense that she would be like, I'm going to turn my trauma into helping
self-defense, people. Honestly, would be fucking cool to see her do, right?
That would be.
I want to see her with a big-ass shotgun, like a Super Black Eagle. I want to see her pumping a shotgun.
I want to see her showing a bunch of other women how to like flip someone with your legs. No, I want to see her being like, this is how you kick flip someone over your head.
Yes, how to kick a ghost face when they're coming. Something. I want to be like dropped into that world. She's a badass. She's a mother. She's all of it. She's Reba, you know.
I want to see. I just want to see Sidney and Gail having gay fans, because they would. They do in real world where they're not real. They would in the real world, and please God, give me like. I just want to see like stans being like annoying with them.
You know, I don't think we need gays in this one. I think we're okay. No gays. You know, we've done the gay thing.
No, we haven't. But we don't see them having fans. We don't see them.
That's enough.
But we don't see them having fans, and I just really want that.
Yes, we can have gay fans. Yes, we don't have to straight wash them to just fans. I don't know if I want to see her being like a fan or two are okay, but I don't want to see her like in some celebrity lifestyle.
But we've never gotten that. We have never gotten that.
I don't want it. I want Sidney leading a normal life.
Well, no,
on the set of see. This is what I also think was going to happen. Is in the last script, I think they had mentioned. Whatever source I saw, probably Critical Overlord, talking about it was going to be like closer to 3, where it was like taking place in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And like on the set of a true crime series or something like that, true crime limited series or something. I really don't want that again. I feel like we're going to get it, but I really would not like to have that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a true crime series. I feel like they set that up with Gail saying it, and that makes sense. Like if Gail, it would make sense if Gail is doing it. Like if Gail's doing the series and it's like she's overseeing it, I would like that.
So Gail's another one we should probably talk about, right? Courtney Cox. I really hope that we get some sort of casting announcement soon, or something that lets us know that Courtney Cox is either on board or she'd like to take a break and just like sit this one out. But I want to know that there's no bad blood and that she is good with this, because Neve Campbell being mentioned with Kevin Williamson without.
Right,
Courtney
feels
Cox just doesn't feels weird. It feels
like okay, but the other one,
yes, right. You know, because I know that oh shit, what's his name? Dewey. What's his name?
David Arquette. David Arquette.
David Arquette. Sorry, he's already been out of one movie. We're like, who?
You
he
like
was
who?
not okay with being killed, his character being killed. So I know he's feeling a type of way now that Kevin Williamson is coming back, especially coming back to direct it. That it's like, because it's lining up to be like true sequel, true Sidney sequel. And it feels weird without Gale and Dewey, but
it is weird how accurate the movies kind of played out with the like what they say in the first few movies.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Tara says Sidney's in all of them but the last one in 5, and as of right now, that is true. But there will be another one coming out.
Well,
I was gonna say I don't think he was like. The way some fans interpret it, I think, was wrong.
Not
they
angry.
were like,
he was
yeah. I think he was just kind of like sad that,
of course, he didn't want to die.
He liked Dewey.
This is his franchise too.
Yeah,
but
he was always the most expendable of the 3.
Mm-hmm. It just in 6, I really didn't like what they did with Gale. I think that was one of the lower points for me.
That was what we both agreed on.
Every moment she's on screen is fine. It's just when you start thinking into her dialogue and where she's at in life, and then she wrote another book.
Her chase scene is great. That's the only thing that I am like, I love all of that. But yeah,
it doesn't sit right with me, and I am given pause about what they would do with her again, right? Because that was clearly somebody did not have their finger on the pulse of what the hell Gale was like. That trajectory for Gale.
I really feel like that's a straight guy who's like, oh, Gale's thing is she's a bitch, and just did that.
That's not right. Yes.
But it's not right.
So
yeah.
A great way to bring Gale back into 7 maybe would be, if there is a true crime series, make it like a docu-series for like Netflix or something like that. And Gale is putting it together, and Gale has asked Sidney for the favor of doing this,
And I think Sidney would do it for her. I do.
I think she would do it, especially if it's pitched as some sort of like Dewey hero story, and or some sort of like something. I don't know, and it could bring them all together in a really nice way, and maybe somebody on the production is like working with the face.
Actually, that would be a cool way to. I mean, not that there are many, but like anyone else who's survived, that would be a cool way to bring them back. Like, they're being interviewed for the true crime documentary, and that's when we see maybe some of them get killed. Although I can't think of more than like 2 other people that have survived.
You better shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. We've already talked about this. We've been texting about it all day, and he would like Kirby to come back and get murdered. And
I would not like it. I just said she would be a good opening kill. Leading up to 6, all you said was Gale's gonna die. That's all you said.
You know what? This is my karma. I don't want Kirby in this one. I'm not gonna be mad if she is. Again, I love these characters, and Kirby is my favorite. But I want Kirby to have a little bit of time too.
But don't you think that would be a good way to bring like someone like her in, or like whoever?
Not as an opening.
No. I just mean I just mean having them in the movie. Like, I think that would be a really good way of like
true crime series.
Yeah, like Gale has to go see them, or they come to Gale, or whatever.
Listen,
I think that
we just have better pitches than these people making it. I'm sorry.
When's My Bloody Judy gonna?
Anyway, we're not getting the PR package anyway. Someone just gonna say it. Kirby, as a true crime podcaster, using movies and true crime to solve these things, was the fucking way to go, and it was right there, and it was modern. It was a way to bring us into the modern age. A detective was lazy as shit.
It was.
I will never forgive that.
We
still have Mindy. Maybe Mindy could do that.
Yeah, but I don't think Right, yeah. I don't think they'll bring any of the core 4 back for this one now without Sam and Tara. But maybe they could even like, I don't know. They could have like maybe Mindy and Chad have a cameo of like Gale goes to see them.
I could see them coming back. Yeah. And they're also a duo, like Sam and Tara were a duo. Mindy and Chad were the duo.
It would have to be the 2 of them.
One of them coming back also, yeah. But again, I am okay with the core 4 sitting this one out.
Same.
And then getting paid a shit ton of money. Melissa Barrera getting paid a shit ton of money to come back for the next one. But like sit them out for a little while. Let them finish college. Like let Tara finish college, right?
We let Sidney finish college at least.
Yes, everything. Just let it happen, and let them, because it's always nice to pick up with a character a few years later rather than the next year, because I don't see that much growth happening in a year.
Right. You and I are big on like, great, like come back to them in 10 years. I feel like not everyone feels that way, but I feel like you and I are very much fans of that. Like
they've paced Sidney out like that. She's a good example of a final girl who's been paced out throughout her franchise, where it's like the first one, then the second one, which is the second one, it was a year
maybe
later,
the only.
that was still really, that's what
I said maybe the only one that's been paced out well.
Well, I mean, I don't know who we're talking about, but we better shut the fuck up. But like the second one, even though it was only a year later, we did need to see her post Woodsboro, like a quick post Woodsboro. But then we got her like 3-4 years later,
Yeah.
and she had like hidden herself away. Totally natural progression story. Then we got 10 years later in 4, and where she would kind of be there, she felt not lost, but she felt like she hadn't yet landed in her purpose. By 5, she's a fully fleshed person, badass, ready to
Guns
kick
in her
anybody's
fucking
ass,
car.
kick any boy's ass. And then in 7, you know, I want to see more of what we kind of were hinting at in 5. I want to see that. I want to see her home life, right? But that's like well paced out, you know. We're checking in at really nice points throughout her life.
No, and
I want that with the core 4 as well.
I agree with you though. Like I do want to see. I don't want it to just be like, oh, she's attacked and we're running around. Like I wanted to see her life. I want to see what it is. I want like some setup at least before we get
a house that's rich as hell. I want to bring richness back into movies. A big ass house that we know is not being afforded on her salary, but she has it. Her kids are taking the bus, even though she's got a Porsche parked in the driveway. I want that back. We shit on it a lot, but I want it back. I want a big ass house with green grass, basically on Wisteria Lane, and just let us sit with them for a little bit. Some family breakfast, you know.
God, what if her and Gail did a true crime podcast together?
I don't think she would helm it or join it, but I think she would come on it.
I think she would come on it if it was like a miniseries and Gail did everything else. And Gail just like flew to her house and interviewed her like they talked in person. Yeah,
what do we do with Gail though?
Right, because
I could see Gail having a little bit of a life crisis.
I think
6.
if we're doing more concentrating on Sidney in Southern California, I would be okay with Gail having a smaller role again. I would love to see more of Gail, but I would be okay if it's like more Sidney. Maybe we see Gail get attacked, she gets a cool chase scene, and then at the end she comes in to help Sidney. I'd be okay with that.
No more,
but then not die.
No more chase scene. She needs a break. I think after 6 really did. If we want to like course correct and really give Gail put her back on the correct trajectory that the gay men are telling you this is the way to do it. 6 would have messed her up because she got called out about the book again and Dewey, and then she almost lost her life in 6. Like it was real fucking close. So she's still around. I think that psychologically would have kind of messed her up or knocked her off kilter for a second. And maybe Gail does need a time to put herself a little bit back together, right? And maybe Sidney could help her do that. Where she's not feeling so hot about her role in all of this anymore. And Sidney's like, if there's anybody that can do it, it is you, Gail. Take a shotgun.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I don't know, man. Like this whole plot, we already know it's gonna be Hollywood. They're gonna be making a movie or something like that, TV show, and it's gonna be that. But I do trust that like Neve seems very excited about this one. So.
She does, and so my anxiety's a little lower that she won't die, but I still have it because I've had it ever since before 4 came out. That has been my anxiety every time. And like, I mean, none of the main characters died in 6 except for the killers. So like, by that logic, hopefully we would do that again with Gail and Sidney, and just kill other people that are not them. Yeah. And yeah, don't touch our kids or attack our kids because that's,
well, you know, who knows if it's.
They could have a nanny that dies. Like the kids get attacked, but the nanny dies.
Oh, that would be great. I would love a nanny getting attacked, and she like has to lock the kids up or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they come home and find the nanny's body like in a weird thing, and they go to the closet, and the kids are traumatized for the rest of their lives, and then they turn into ghost faces. Because then you could have Sidney's kids be ghost faces.
No.
Try to kill Sidney. They said
she's her mother. She's had enough family members to try to kill her. Like
you're her mother. This was all your fault. Everything happened because of you. I was excited for like a Christina Carpenter sort of setup. Yeah. I was hoping Christina Carpenter would come back at some point, but if Christina Carpenter comes back in this one, I will be so angry. I will be so angry.
Don't have her in this because
you were Billy's girlfriend and it should have been me.
Because without her kids, it would be stupid.
it made sense for her kids as like their sort of like finale, their trilogy finale. But this one, who is the killer in this one? Like, what do we? Who has it out for Sidney that bad these days? Jill, only one. She's alive too. If everybody else can be alive, she can be alive.
Yeah, but like the problem is the people that are alive, they're alive in their movie. They don't die in their movie and then come back in the next one.
She had her eyes open. She's fine. She's okay.
She was
She's been in a
dead.
coma this whole time. Coma.
I I don't know. I for the killer, it's always like, yeah, whatever, sure, whatever new character, but I don't fucking care. I just don't want it to be her husband because don't do that to her again.
No husband, no daddy.
The dad is dead.
Would you be mad if Gail was a killer?
Oh yeah, I would think that was so stupid. Any of
I
the
could see them doing it.
any of the like heroes becoming Ghostface, I think is really stupid. Any of the survivors becoming Ghostface, I just don't. It's not a Saw movie, right? Like in a Saw movie, that makes sense because whatever, but not in Scream because they're more grounded in reality, and I just feel like that doesn't make sense.
It also doesn't make sense that anybody would want to come for Sidney anymore. It does that truly doesn't make sense. Like in context of the world, it doesn't make sense anymore. I get that there would be a lot of people who would maybe target Sidney because of she's the golden get, right? If you're wanting to be a ghost face and everybody wants to try to take out Sidney, but it's happened so many times that like people have moved on to everybody else, other victims.
Okay, I just thought of my idea. Going back to what I said about fans, have there always be like a random group of like rabid fans that she encounters throughout the movie, a la Gail
Not
with
the gays attacking Sidney,
a la Gail with the reporters in 2, and
Yes.
have one of the head of that group be the Ghostface. Not everyone, but like one of them, or have the whole fucking group be Ghostface. Sure, and we have 10. But I feel like that could work. Like cast someone as the main fan, and that person, kind of like Laurie Metcalf in 2. And we can
I guess going along with that, it kind of the question is then asked, like, what is the greater story? Is this a one-off or is this a greater story that's leading into other things? Because if like it's a one-off, then I could see the fan thing working right. But like, if it's a greater thing, then what?
I kind of want it to be a one-off.
Kind of, but then I do want it to link back up with the core 4 later. I reason to link back
I don't
up.
think we can bank on that happening as the thing because I don't think Spyglass is selling these rights. 6 made them so much money.
They're so angry. How do we Ghostface Spyglass? How do we do
Yes, Spyglass is Ghostface.
Just kidding. That's I don't want to. We're gonna get sued for this, FBI.
I do like. I would be okay with that. Sure, we can even make it be like the fan as a child of one of the murder victims, or like a relative of like someone who died in one of the recent ones. You could have it be the fucking mom of the fucking Dermot Mulroney's wife or ex-wife. She's mad because her whole family was murdered because of everything Sidney put in motion. She goes to kill Sidney.
I'm also really tired of that. Is the everything Sidney put in motion storyline, and you have to be finished, Sidney.
Well,
like we're done with it.
I mean, that is the if we're saying the franchise is hers, it should relate to her.
I like it more that, you know what I would like is somebody who is so fucking pissed off at Sidney, not for any of that. The twist is, they ain't even pissed off for none of her past. She just pissed off a mom at the PTA or something. Not that inconsequential, like something a little bit deeper than that, but like pissed her off so much that she wanted to not only kill Sidney and make Sidney suffer, she wanted to make her like psychologically suffer. So you put the Ghostface costume back on and tell her Ghostface is back, right? But
I also would really like Ghostface to one of them to get killed halfway through or at some point in the like I think that would have been so cool if Gail got to kill her Ghostface and it was fucking Quinn, because like you can't relate at that point in 6. You couldn't have been like, well, Quinn's Quinn's his daughter. It has to be him. We didn't know that. We didn't know she was related. Or if it was who was the other twink? I forget what his name. Jack Champion. If it was like she pulled off his mask and he was dead and she had killed Ghostface, because then they're still like, what the fuck? Like, how are there more Ghostfaces? We don't know.
It to be like a what the fuck. I do want them to continue trying to reinvent it a little bit, because I think that's where it's fun, is like when we do have the moments of like, you know, Ghostface in 6 dying pretty quick, and then he's not really the Ghostface. There's other Ghostface.
Because that was so fast, it didn't really like impact it that much.
But it still like was.
It's a good idea.
They were playing with it. I like them playing with it. So I want them to continue to do that. I don't want to go back. If I hear them in any sort of way in this press tour or anything, say back to basics, I'm going to be like, fucking bitch, we did that in 5. Do not do this anymore. No back to basics. We're out there now. Okay? 7 makes no sense in real life. Make it extravagant. I want her on the roof. I want her being chased on a roof, holding on to the
space.
Yes, running on the roof. Okay.
But that's back to she was already running on a roof.
No, she's gonna run on a roof again, a better roof, like in Amityville Horror. That one.
Like you're roof. Like no more of that things we've already done, but a roof, make it bigger.
Roof, a good roof. But that was like she wasn't really running on a roof. She was like hopping across it and fell
like
off.
Orphan first kill.
I want a chase scene on the roof.
You do like that chase scene in Halloween 5 or 6 or 4?
I love it. See, that's what I want. I want a roof moment. I want some shit. I don't know. Really give us chase scenes. Good, long chase scenes. And Kevin Williamson knows that. He knows that better than anybody working on horror movies these days.
Well, like, it's so weird that Sick wasn't talked about that much. Like you and I feel like have been on the beat of like 6 is great.
Back chase scenes over and over. That she never stopped running. She was going.
I would have absolutely died because there's no way I would be able to run that much.
That was a good half-mile swim.
And swim? Give me a break.
Yes,
I'd be dead.
A good half-mile swim one way.
Drown.
So she swam a whole mile, ran probably a mile, probably several miles.
And isn't her hand also stabbed when she's swimming back?
She's like knocked in the face. She's like punched. All of that. She earned that shit. Put her in this franchise, right? They can coexist.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Somebody's
girls
mad
pop
at Sidney
up.
for not masking, you know?
I do worry. My only concern is I don't want Ghostface to be Mark, and I don't want Mark to die because I don't think Sidney deserves that. I would be okay if we think he's fine. Do a Dewey or a Chad with him where like he does get stabbed, but then he's like pulled away on a stretcher at the end. Since there is always a character that happens to now is what I'm realizing. Like it was kind of dumb with Chad because it's like that man is dead. But that does happen in like every movie.
I could see them doing it though. I agree with you. I don't want him to die, but I do see I see him like very much on the chopping block, and as probably
like he could be the opening
top
kill,
3 spots because they're gonna want an emotional plug moment. I don't know. We got.
I just like I'm like yes, kill the women on the PTA, kill whoever her neighbors are.
See,
I don't
I'm
fucking
telling you,
care.
that'd be so fun. That'd be good.
And I do think it would be cool if like they make her the suspect, but like we know it's not her, but like people in town start thinking it's her.
Because you have to assassinate their character.
Because do you remember? I feel like I never shut up about this. That show The Watcher that's based on that true story of like the letters being sent. So like my ex lives in that town and is like, oh, everyone in town just says it was that guy. Like everyone thinks it's that man. But like I read a lot about that and I did not think it was that man. And he's like, oh yeah, everyone in town just assumes it's him. So I feel like
I don't know deep enough about that, but like I get where you're going with this. Yes.
But like you know what I mean? If that happened with Sidney and they're all just like, well, it's gotta be her, even if it doesn't make sense, they just all decide. And I don't know. I think that would be like a pretty good.
I don't know. I just I'm excited about it. I do want like. So I'm hoping that we kind of started off with our story. The writers had a story that they had in mind. They're stretching that out, and they have with all of this press coverage, and then Melissa leaving, and like everything's kind of been pushed a little bit. And I hope that they've taken the time to fix things.
If they're not
that extra time has really helped them, right? I did hear Critical Overlord say that like there was like maybe a summer predicted shooting date. That would be fine. We just don't like. Just be careful, just not too quickly. I want things to go at like a very nice pace.
Let this car, we can like sit on it for a little bit.
Yes, I mean I would love even wait till Christmas to shoot and give us that snow movie, the Ghostface in the Snow movie with Sidney Prescott, right? That would be nice.
That would be nice.
So I don't know. I just like please, yeah. I know you're watching. I know you're watching.
I know you
Take your
really
time.
respect what we say to like random
Please take your
faggots.
time and just like I will give you ideas. I won't want any credit for them. I don't want to get paid for them. I will not sue you. I will sign any NDA you want me to sign. But come and take our ideas.
I'll
Come
sign
get
an
them.
NDA, but then I'll break it in a month.
It's fine. But if I could like navigate a Scream movie and but somebody said you can navigate the Scream movie, but you will never get any credit. You will never get any money. You will never get any riches or anything off of this movie, right? Nobody will ever know you said anything about it. I would fucking do it. I would absolutely fucking do it. I'd be like, because then I get to watch my movie
I don't
up
know.
there, and it goes exactly how I want it to go. So
I don't know. That's like when
if you're watching,
someone stole one of my Slayer Fest 98 memes and Sarah Michelle Gellar reposted it and credited it that guy. I was ready to burn the world to the ground.
I do remember that one. I do. But I don't know. I am very, very excited about it. You know, real bummed out about Melissa.
Yeah.
And I do hope that because I mean, nobody's really spoken out about it. So I do hope that, like, I hope our Scream people are all supporting each other. You know?
I do.
They're just
And
all happy for each other.
at the very least, we do know that like everyone from Six, because they did that. I forget what award show that was that they happened to all be at. Because I think it was Jenna Ortega said in an interview that it really wasn't planned, that they didn't realize they were all going. And then they all took like group photos together. And it does seem like they're all pretty supportive of each other. And like all of them were posting it like, oh, even Jack Quaid posted like, oh, like a reunion. So I do like, that is my problem with people jumping to like, oh, Neve Campbell must be the XYZ, because like we don't know. She might have had a phone call with Melissa Barrera where she was like, no, take the paycheck. Like, no hard feelings, whatever.
I mean, it's just we don't know. We don't know. But like that's the thing is like these people do cons. They're going to be asked about it. They do interviews. They're going to be
especially
asked
now,
about it.
yeah.
And they're going to give. We're going to be able to tell if somebody is a little bit icy about something.
Yeah.
Right? So we shall see. I am super fucking excited about Sidney getting her own story again. Again, do it correctly because you have one shot at this, man.
Yeah.
You got one shot at a good Sidney Scream 7
one.
movie. 7 is such a good number, such a nice number to come back to.
I do like that you keep saying that, but why do you keep saying 7 is a good number?
4s and 7s are my numbers. That's my OCD numbers. 4s and 7s are always really good. So this year is going to be a really good year, and Scream 7 is going to be a really good movie.
3 and 5, I realized are my weird numbers because they're always my favorite numbers. They're always my favorite seasons of all of my favorite shows.
5 is okay. 5 is like a little inconsequential, but 3 is a terrible number. It is not a good number.
The season 3 of Buffy.
Well, 2023 didn't go so hot for you, did it? Maybe you should listen to me.
Fucking rude.
2024 is a good year, and Scream 7 is going to be a good movie.
Well, in your face, Ian, your mom died.
Well, you know, we won't talk about that one.
Fucking Christ.
I was talking more about all the depression stuff. I did forget your mom died first. Now I feel bad about that. Well, I mean, I don't know where to go with that one now. But my point does still stand.
Don't worry. The other day I was texting with a friend of mine, and just so everyone knows, I love Zach, so it's fine. Where we're allowed to make these jokes. I was texting with someone, and they were saying something that I thought someone else said, and I was like, "That's such a fucking dumb, brain dead take. Anyone who says that is such an idiot and just parroting what they read online." And he was like, "Ian, I'm saying I said that," and I was like,
"What was it? What was it?"
It was something you would, because it was someone being like. Saying
something
how bad
I would have said, something I would have said.
No, something you would have agreed with me on, because it was like someone trashing Bros and saying how it's like, you know, terrible and awful and blah blah blah. It's like all the things everyone said online, and I was like, no, it wasn't. And then I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I mean, I still stand by what I said, but I do love you, and I'm sorry.
There you go.
But so this was us coming back for a little bonus while we're still on break. But
a little bounce to let you know we're still alive.
We were texting about it, and we were like, I said we should do a video, and I really didn't think Zach would say yes, and then he did, so we did one. So yeah,
it makes sense to do one on this.
Yeah. And hopefully we do get more news. I hope there is. I hope like what you said. Like I do hope we learn that
start snowballing from here, and I would like a casting pretty soon for different people. For our main people, you can leave some people out, like your Dermot Mulroney, like all of the newly added people are fine, right? But I want to know Sidney's husband. I want to know Gail. I want to know Kirby. People like that.
Do you think he would come back to Or
yes.
what the fuck is his name? Patrick Dempsey.
Yes, he's been ready. He's been ready.
Right?
That man has been ready. He don't need the money. He just enjoys being there, you know?
Yeah. Like, that's kind of like Courtney Cox, right? She got Friends money.
Living on that Grey's Anatomy money.
Yeah. I would imagine, yeah, it's probably like maybe not as much as Friends money, but like close, right?
Spoiler alert, Derek died in Grey's Anatomy, and Kincaid's going to die in Scream 7.
Wait, did he die on Grey's Anatomy? Well, I guess they went through so many casts on Grey's Anatomy.
Terrible. I'm glad I never made it to that season.
Anyway, this was nice. It was nice to be back for a little brief little treat, Zach.
Absolutely. We're also coming back with my Nudie Judy, which is like a little fun, like kinky little show we talk about. That'll be on each of our Patreons, so subscribe to whichever one you want.
Zach will be sticking a banana in his butt on the next episode.
Yes, on the first episode, yes.
Right, yes, in the first episode.
It broke off and took me a little bit to get it out, but, you know.
Okay. It would be so mushy.
Not in my 2024.
But yeah, so subscribe to both our Patreons and you can listen to us do Nudie Judy, which is back. And subscribe to My Bloody Judy because we will be back at
TV Scream. Listen, this shit starts rolling up. We'll be on that wagon. So
but all right, everyone. Well, Zach, this was nice.
Yes. All right. Bye.
Bye.